we are gonna fucking get pumped.
I was actually thinking like an alternative could be like us sauntering into the room defeated and then being like, we're going to talk about newsletters. Are you ready for this? Newsletters!
We're prepared to talk about newsletters.
Welcome to No Let Me Talk, the podcast created by two best buddies who became business partners. Every episode we talk about something related to small business, and today we're talking about newsletters, why you should give a shit.
We have recorded this. This will be the third time. Or is this the third or the fourth time? Third time.
Well, this time my bangs are going to be flat across.
Yeah. But yeah, if we sound like not ourselves, it's because we've done this many times. And
Sarah, do you know what we need to do? We need to fucking rally. We just need to...
We're going to talk about how important goddamn newsletters are to your business. Why do people make them?
Sarah, we love newsletters, and you gotta have them. You gotta eat them up, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know? You gotta crack that egg and eat it raw. Newsletter style. Newsy style. Hey, Sarah, word on the street is that you are a hater for newsletters, and that somebody had to save your whole life, your whole ass life.
I once was a hater. I once wasn't part of the newsletter cult. And then I saw the light. And the light was Bryn yelling at me saying, bitch, why don't you have your fucking newsletter set up? And I was like, that's stupid. I don't want to bother people. I don't want to talk. I've already got social media. Why?
Right. I changed your life for the better, and you are so welcome. I feel like with a newsletter, it's like something that you have to have the minute you start a business. You said 400 other times in this podcast that we've recorded. Like you've said before, logo, brand name, get all the handles.
Yep.
Get all the socials you can get, website, domain, newsletter sign up.
Right there. If you need to set up your newsletter before you set up your About Us page on your website.
You need to set up a newsletter before you take your first dump of the morning.
You need to set up your newsletter before you make a contact page on your website.
You need to set up a newsletter before your dad learns how to swim.
Oh, shit. My dad. Nope. Cutting that off real quick.
I think it's good.
In this podcast, we're going to talk about why you need newsletters, why they're important. We're going to talk about the reasons that the fucking excuses that we hear all the time from people saying why they don't have a newsletter. And then at the end, after we've talked you into why it's so important to get one.
We're trying to convert you into the newsletter cult. If you are one of those people that's like, I don't need one, I don't have enough followers, I don't know what to say, I don't want to be annoying, get in line because you're going to fall in love with newsletters and we're going to help you.
Yeah, these two annoying bitches are going to teach you that you're not annoying and that.
Do you know what? Idea. Do you know what, Sarah? We weren't annoying the first time. This was genuine and sweet. And by the fourth time we're recording this, I feel like you can feel our frustration and anger. We're like, newsletters!
Yeah. By the end of this, you're not even going to notice that, baby, and you're going to want to make newsletters. And then do you know what we're going to give you? We're going to give you a bunch of content ideas for when you make your newsletter. So you're not even going to have to think about it. We're going to give you enough content. It will last you maybe 3 newsletters worth.
Yeah, I feel like in general with this podcast, we're not trying to help anybody do anything because we just kind of want to talk together. But I do think with this podcast, this specific episode, if you are somebody that wants to do newsletter or is hung up in any way, I do think we have some solutions that are pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely
This-
do. So, Bryn,
talking about this newsletter stuff has actually like helped me get pretty hyped about my own newsletters, because
I was hyped about it. First time, real hyped. Second time, less hyped, but still interested. This time, I'm so hyped. I can't tell you how much I love newsletters.
I'm the most hyped that I've ever been for anything.
My neighbors are going to be like, Sarah is not okay. So, Bryn, I would love you to tell people all of the shit, stupid excuses that we've heard from people saying, I don't want to get a newsletter. Tell the people what we know you're thinking.
Well, all the people be dancing, first of all. And they are all saying that they don't feel like they have a large enough following to have to set up a newsletter or send anything. They feel like they are too annoying because email is invasive and they don't want to bother anybody. They feel like, well, actually, I keep saying they feel like, but like this is all stuff we've felt too.
Yeah.
We've had to trick ourselves into newsletters. They really are tricky because it does feel like you're invading someone's like personal space with their email. It feels very different from social media. But I think like with this, what we want to talk about is like how you should think about newsletters as an extension of social media, or the granddaddy Weekend at Bernie's of newsletters.
Yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
Social media. Social media. Newsletters should be the granddaddy Weekend at Bernie's of newsletters. That's
Yes.
what I said. Like an idiot.
Newsletters are the if there's a pyramid, they're at the top. They're the most important of all the things that you're going to do social media wise. Newsletters are at the top, and everybody puts them down here. But they're so important.
Yeah. Actually, that's great. They're food pyramid style, like top of the pyramid. Like you send the fewest of them, but they are the most important. Like with social media, you gotta make a post every single day, or like TikTok. They were saying like make 5 TikToks a day. How can you be making good content?
Gary V.
Anyways, if you send newsletters though, you send like once a week, maybe once a month. In my case, sometimes once every 6 months. And that's how you know. It is like the most top secret manila folder, filing cabinet, super secret, no eyes. I got to kill you if you read it. Most important information.
Yeah. So anybody who is signing up to your newsletter, they are also the people that care the most. They want to hear from you. They're literally going to effort to hear from you. It's not just clicking like I'll follow this person on social media. They're clicking an outside link. They're entering an email. They're clicking yes. And then sometimes they're having to go into their emails to double check and say, yeah, bitch, I want to sign up, because there's like 2-party authentication and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that double
when
opt-in.
When people are saying like, I don't want to bother people, like, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about that. You're not bothering anybody. They've legitimately, on purpose, went to effort to hear from you. So don't let that hold you back. And one of the first points that Bryn said was I have a very small following, so there's like no point setting up a newsletter because I don't have this like huge following yet. You are the perfect person to start. As soon as you want to start your business, start, because just because you've got your newsletter and you're like, collecting emails in this database does not mean you have to start sending out emails. It just means that when you're ready to do so, you've got the database there of people who are ready to hear about it. So that was something that I felt like, because I think you told me to set up a newsletter, and I think maybe on Instagram I might have had like 1,000 followers, and I was just like, I don't have enough people to like do that. I 100% did. And I was definitely wrong, and you were right. But yeah.
It is also like one of those things, like people are like, well, I don't have enough people to send to. What does that even mean? Like if you have 10 people that sign up to your subscriber list, those are the people that really, like you said, really want to hear from you. And that is worth it alone. You said also in a previous recording, but you said, oh man, I don't even remember. You said it so good before. This is going to be the diarrhea of podcasts.
This is going to be the episode where we keep making jokes that we've made multiple times, or jokes that we made before, and we're not going to reference them, so they don't know why you said Weekend at Bernie's before.
It feels really bad. It feels horrible. Oh, well, Weekend of Bernie's, that's in my notes and I don't know why. That's
No.
what that was.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At this point, none of this matters. We don't know if this is going to work. This might all be for nothing. In fucking 20 minutes, we might look back at this and go, oh, Sarah, your audio didn't record. And I'll just be like,
Yeah.
we're not doing a podcast anymore. Reasons that people might not want to do it. It's all, I think it all just comes down to confidence. So have confidence in yourself that what you make is cool and people want to see it. And they want to see it so bad that they signed up to your newsletter about it. So like just have confidence about that. And then if you have a low subscriber for like social media and you don't think you have enough people, just don't let that set you back. As you grow your following on social media, grow your newsletter database at the same time. It's just cool to do it at the same time because then when you start making content, it's there and it's ready for you.
Another thing that people have hangups about, it seems, is that it feels really salesy. What do you have to say about that?
I think that it is one of the most powerful sales fucking platforms. You're talking directly to your audience, to an audience who has already told you, yo, I want to buy from you. So like if it feels salesy, it's because it's a really, really powerful sales tool. And that's what it's there for. Like, do you want to have a business and sell things? Newsletters. You should be salesy on there. And there's a way to do it that's, not gross. You don't have to be eBay about it.
That's what I was going to say is if it feels too salesy and that weirds you out, there are a lot of ways to make emails a lot more personal. And I think people really appreciate that because if every email you get feels like one catalog ad sent out to all the houses in your neighborhood, then like it doesn't feel fun. Like what incentive do I have unless if I'm actively like, I got all this extra money, I want to spend it on your stuff. Like not everybody feels that way. Some people just want to support you and they want to know what you're up to. And so like making your newsletter more personal, which is not hard to do. We have some ideas that we haven't even tried yet that we want to employ ourselves. Exactly. Making it a little bit more personal takes a little bit of that ick factor away.
Yeah. I think something else that goes into the salesiness of something is the amount of emails that you send out. So like if you are sending out one email a week and it is just like, hey, I'm selling this thing. Hey, I'm selling this thing. And you might be promoting the same product, but like it's not selling. That can feel salesy if you're pushing the same thing over and over, or if you're pushing something, if you're like feel like you're just like milking the teats of your audience because you're like sending out things all the time. I think that there's an element of like time between them that will help with that feeling.
That's a really good point. I've actually never sent an email that is promoting this, like if it's not a launch or like something that I'm revealing. I've actually never sent an email about something that I've already launched. Like for instance, shirts. I've never sent out like a reminder, like I have these t-shirts for sale. And I think it's because I have that hang up that like I don't want to like abuse the email subscribers that I have. But like, I don't know, what is the harm in doing that? I suppose if you don't do it often, I don't really know if there is harm. But yeah, like I think the thing that I don't know if we really made it clear because we came in so aggressive because we're tired and we're trying to do this and we're trying to get ourselves hyped. So it's like coming out as aggression. But like, I feel like one of the things is like we have all of these same hangups, but I think that we've sort of like manipulated our brains into understanding the value that newsletters have and getting over our imposter syndrome about it so that we can use an incredibly powerful sales tool to our benefit. Go.
Do you know what I also think? I think that we found a way to make it more fun as well. Like we've definitely, between the both of us, we have made like creating emails a little bit more fun because I think that we do it a little bit differently than what I've seen other artists do it. I think that, we've taken something that's like kind of boring to make and like, making social media posts is more fun because it's quicker and it's easier. We found multiple ways of making newsletters more fun to make and therefore they're more fun to read maybe. I don't know,
but also
I enjoy it more.
So social media, you have instant gratification, right? You post something and you can immediately see people like the culture around social media is like, comment, subscribe, that sort of stuff. So you have like literal evidence that people are interacting with you in a way that makes you feel like I'm incredible. With emails, though, like my email opens, the percentage is so much higher than my engagement on any social media,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't nearly feel as rewarding as social media
Yeah.
does.
That's so, so true. That's a great point. I don't have anything to add to that. It's just
Okay.
really smart. You're a really smart lady.
I have a question for you. How do you write I think people get hung up on like what to write in their emails. How do you write your emails in a way that doesn't feel like robotic or like pitchy, like sales pitchy?
Bryn, that is a great question, and I've never been asked that before, so I
I
can't
bet you
wait to
haven't.
answer that. Yeah. So the way that I love to write emails is I see writing emails as, instead, on social media when I'm speaking to people, I feel like I'm speaking to a big collective audience. But when I'm writing emails, I think about it as if I'm writing to one person. So I kind of treat it like a letter. So a lot of the times I will envision that I'm actually writing to you. Or sometimes I do envision that I'm writing to my mum. Because she reads
Aw,
all of my emails. She's
that's
on my
so sweet.
Patreon subscribers. She's the best. So yeah, I do it that way where I am, the language that I'm using is I'm speaking to one person, and I write it like I'm writing a little letter, letting that person know what I've been up to this month, what I've got for sale, if they're interested. And yeah, my emails are very rarely like one point. There'll be one point at the top, and then I will like talk about other things, and that's when it gets like a little bit more personal and one-on-one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that I do that helps me like get it out. What do you do? What's like, do you have a little trick?
No, I think that I'm like kind of in flux as far as my newsletters go. I feel like talking about this and like researching it and recording these so many times has like really made me like think about my newsletters and made me kind of like jazzed about it all over again. But
Yeah.
some of the things that I do to keep it fun for me is I just like stick to headlines, stick to important information, make sure that whatever is the thing that I want someone to know, top of the email, first thing. If it's a sale time, it's like sale 4 p.m. because that's the most critical thing. And then like throughout the email, I'll try to have a lot of like photos that are edited or like customized, something that kind of looks like I've touched every bit of the email so that it's not just like a square image. I know not everybody can do that, but
Yeah, I really love that you do that on yours. You had a really good point in like maybe the first time or the second time that we recorded this, but you said that at the top of your email, you noticed that a lot of people will have their logo there, and you kind of made a really good point saying that that's like your most important real estate, and you're using
yeah,
that for like your logo when
it's like
like
we know who sent this. We opened the
yeah.
email. It literally says where it came from. So it feels like it's wasted space.
Yeah, I think that was such a good point. And I know that I do that on my emails. I think it's different if you're like establishing a brand and
Yeah,
people like, you're just starting to send out an email. Maybe
sure.
you've been collecting people's email in a database for like 6 months and you're ready to send out your first one.
Mhm.
Definitely put your logo up the top. But if you
Sure.
are regularly sending out an email maybe once every fortnight or month, I feel like that is a space that is going to be way better served with more important information. And then maybe put your logo at the bottom as part of like a pretty footer or something like that. But I thought
Yeah.
that was a great point.
I also like it when people add like a touch of like them in it, like a photo of them or a picture of their hands or like something that connects like the human to the work. And I know not everyone's comfortable having a photo of them or a picture or whatever, but like something that feels like something that grounds your email and looks like it came from someone's home. I
Yeah.
love when I see stuff like that, and that's something that I try to include because yeah, it counterbalances that feeling like, well, I'm invading someone's email inbox even though you asked for this.
Yeah,
You wanted this.
definitely. I think another point to go along with that hand in hand, and something that I definitely do in my emails in almost everything I do, is not getting hung up on making everything so perfect. Like I do not proofread and make sure that everything sounds like, super
You
corporate. And
should though. You should prove you
sometimes
You got to make sure that your like sale time is correct because I mess that up
that.
all the time.
Yeah. And I do that. I have messed that up a bunch of times. But I think that there is something to be said about being a little bit more like casual in your language that you use, because I don't know, I do because I'm talking to a friend when I'm sending in these emails, but I think that it kind of, I don't know, I really like it when I'm getting emails from small businesses and artists that are just a little bit more casual and you're seeing the person, and then when you're reading the language it doesn't feel like, when you're a little bit more candid, it kind of helps letting go of that like salesiness, because you don't feel like you're pitching something. So I don't know, that's just something to think about as well.
It feel like I've subscribed to a bunch of different artist newsletters now, and it is like the ones where they don't feel like a template or like I don't know, like you can tell it feels so different.
Yeah, definitely. I think that something else. So I'd like to talk a little bit about like things that we don't like seeing in newsletters, like kind of things that maybe give people a little bit of the ick, you know? So number one, sending too many. Nobody fucking likes that. Dadoy. I don't think we need to talk about that. Number two.
Wait, I want to talk about that.
No, we already talked about that.
I want to talk about it.
Go.
What? I want to talk about it. Okay. I don't think that there's an issue with sending too many emails as long as they're different and you're not sending like the same regurgitated content over and over and over again. If you got something to say, if you got something to promote, if you got something new to do or whatever, send an email. Don't worry about it.
Do you know what?
I want to know what you're up to.
I'll allow it. Yep. Passed. Motion passed.
Thank you. And can we get wands or something? Can we have like
gavels?
What happened to your bell? You never used it on me.
But it's annoying. I don't like it. No. I don't like it at all. Okay, so something else that is a bit of a no-no for me, that I can tell when someone has made an email that they have found it boring to make. And when I notice that, I find it really fucking boring to read.
That is so true.
Yeah. So if you're like making this and you're just like phoning it in, just be aware that people are probably going to phone in reading it, and don't be surprised if like the audience retention is shit.
I got a tip. Okay. Also, when you write an email, recognize that you're not talking to a broad audience. You're talking to a single person who's opening it. So don't write like, "Hey guys," or like something like that. Right. Thank you. Thank you. Not thank you guys. Thank you.
That's such a good point, Bryn. That's a beautiful point. I love that. It's lovely. Also, don't forget that most people will read an email on their phone, on the toilet, like me, not Bryn. She uses the browser. Do you know how I know this? Because we've talked about this multiple times. But
hold on. I'm still on a toilet, baby. I'm still on a toilet.
On your computer.
Yeah. I got no rules.
Well, just keep in mind that if you are writing too much text, if you've got like a lot to say in an email, and like that's fine. Some people just do so much better in words. Some people do, not me, but a lot of people do. If you've got something that's like wordy, dirty, maybe don't write it all in an email, because if someone's scrolling, they're just going to be like scrolling through paragraphs.
Okay, hold on. But also, bro, you are so good at words. I think you're really good at writing stuff. You're not good at spelling, but who is? Who's good at spelling?
Not us. But yeah, my point is that if you've got a lot to say, maybe make that a blog post and like write a snippet of it and then link to the blog post, or like make it a page on your website and link to the page, or make it social media content and then like have that as the caption and then link to that.
I think a big thing that should be everyone's goal with your newsletter is to have people end up on your website.
Yeah.
That should be a thing that you want, because that's like your home base. That's your mothership. You want to get people back there.
Definitely. So I think that a lot of like things that I've read about like do's and do nots of newsletters, one of them that comes up all the time is like, don't write too much content. But my thing is, some people be writers. Some people be poets. So like a perfect example of this is a friend of ours, Mel Macklin. That bitch writes a lot. So
That feels like a call out.
yes, Mel, she knows. I love the shit out of her, but she is a beautiful writer, and I would hate for her to get the advice like, don't write in your emails, when that is fucking part of her art form.
Oh,
So,
yeah, that's so true.
yeah. So I'm not saying like don't write too much. I'm saying find a way to like use your skill as a writer and funnel people to where you want them to go. Like a blog post or a web page or a social media post or something. I'm not saying don't do it, because I think that what I'm definitely learning about social media is that it's different. Everybody uses it differently. And some people are beautiful writers and some people aren't like me and love to read shit. So,
yeah. And a wall of text, like what you want in a newsletter is you want to design it so that there's a point of interest, a point of interest, a point of interest. So someone is scrolling slowly, not swiping through because there's a wall of text that immediately loses their interest.
Exactly. A really good example of that is the newsletters that I get from Chromatical, the Chromatical podcast. Her emails are exclusively text only, and she writes a lot of stuff, and I find that I lose interest really quickly. But what I don't do is, what I do.
Ha!
I said do.
Yeah.
What I do is I read all the titles, and she's really clever with her typography. She sets her emails up in a way that if you are skim reading and you're just reading the titles, you pretty much get the gist of what she's trying to say in the email. And then it's easy to go back and read parts that you're interested in. So if you're if you're a heavy words bitch, fucking you can find a way to do that. And I recommend go have a look at Chromatical podcast. She does great newsletters for text stuff. That's the first time I talked about that.
I wonder if like we're the correct audience for like most newsletters though, because we lose interest so fast.
No, we definitely are. I think we definitely are. I think that most people have a really short attention span for advertising, and that's basically what newsletters are. So we're so used to getting advertised too that we skim read and we like let shit go really quickly. So I think
we are actually geniuses and beautiful visions and also talented ladies.
And not tired.
No.
We're great.
Not tired. Oh, we're hungry. I haven't eaten.
I haven't eaten 2 of these while we've been working out how to do this shit.
I have peed like 700 times. I've just peed over and over and over again.
Bryn has done a lot of wheeze, definitely. All right, so I think we're up to talking about some content ideas. What do you think, Bryn?
Do we talk about all newsletter no-nos?
Probably. I think we talked about enough of them.
Do we talk about all the boo-boos you can make when you make a newsletter?
Yes.
Okay. Different newsletter content ideas? That's what we're on?
Yep. So yeah, let's talk about I think the most interesting part of this podcast, and that's different content ideas for newsletters. First things first, make sure that the goal of your newsletter is at the top. Whatever that may be, put it at the top. Then you can have fun below, or you can not have a main goal and you can just be sharing some information about what's going on in your life.
Yeah, Sarah, I'm going to do this joke for like the 4th time.
Fuck.
It's not even that good. Sarah used to be, fuck, I can't even remember how it goes. Damn it.
Something about hiding treasure, pirate, as a newsletter pirate.
Sarah used to be a newsletter pirate. I don't know if you heard about those on the high seas. She would take whatever her most important information, she just buried at the bottom because she didn't want to like bother people, which is like, we keep saying this, but it's like the thing. It's the thing. So you'd have all this other content. You'd be like telling people about like the ice cream flavors you just had and like, I don't know, what your toenails are up too, and then you just be like, and actually I have a sale. You just like squirrel it away so nobody would know.
Creep up on it because I was like, I want to talk to my friends and I want to tell my friends what I've been up to and blah blah blah, and also I have a sale. Yeah,
you'd be like, but I don't want
to. Yeah. But like that was just confidence. I was just like not confident and feeling like I just
get it through your thick skull.
Yeah.
Get it through your thick skull that we want to know what's up and we want to know when sales are because we want to collect your work. And if we don't want to collect your work, we still want to know what's up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because we're snoopy bitches. So if you don't have anything to sell or promote, your audience would still love to hear from you, right? So here's some ideas. You can share an email letting your subscribers know what you've been up to just in general in your daily life because you're just a little guy just running your little art business and you got stuff on. You might have like things going on with your family, things going on in my notes, another job, working hard on a project. You can share pictures of your studios. Maybe you've got a work in progress that you're really proud of, a setback that you might have had. Share some stuff like that, like personal stuff.
I love reading about setbacks. It feels like it's humanizing someone so much because we're all so curated all the time. So if you tell me that you made a big a blunder, a bungle, I want to know about that bungle in your newsletter specifically. Exactly. Don't tell me anywhere else. That's gross. But like in a newsletter, you know.
Yeah. Another thing you can do is share what inspired you that month. I do this every month with my newsletters, and I also do it sometimes in my Patreon newsletters. But I absolutely love sharing what has inspired me this month. And it could be music, a movie, a book I've read, more importantly, like artists that have inspired me this month. Yeah. I love sharing that kind of stuff. And a lot of the best artists that I've found have been through other artists sharing what inspired them. So I think it's really cool to like share other artists that have inspired you. And it might also, I think it's really cool, like if you're like working on something and you like might have been inspired by someone else, like share the process of your inspiration so that people can kind of see like how you got to where you are. I think that's really, really cool. Yeah, and it also promotes growth mindset instead of scarcity mindset, which is really important as artists because it stops you thinking about like, you know, this is what, I don't want to share anybody because then there's like less like customers for me.
Oh,
no, that's fake news. There's enough customers for everybody.
I was like, what is growth mindset and scarcity mindset? I was like,
have you never heard that before?
No, but I figured it out. You're saying, I get what you're saying. You're saying like if we all grow together, it's good, and if we cut everyone else down, it's the tall poppy. I watched Koala Man.
Yeah, but also this is the third time we've had this conversation, and I've said this 3 times.
I don't remember. I don't. You've said growth mindset and scarcity mindset. Did I even say that right?
It's in my notes.
I swear to God, I've never heard you say it once in your life. You just made that up.
Well, yeah, it does. It promotes and it keeps it in your mind, like growth mindset. It's super important as an artist.
Obviously, it doesn't. So. Nothing stays in my mind. It doesn't work. I can say I do. One of the things, like, if I see a email from Sarah Connor Ceramics, I'm usually like, ugh, you know, like, ugh. But then I'm like, maybe she'll share me this month. No,
whatever. I don't even tell people who you are anymore. I just say Bryn because it just goes hand in hand at this point.
I know. One thing that I've personally never done, but I've seen this is really more to like grow your newsletter base. Once you experience like a social media blackout, you will decide, oh wait, maybe I have no control over this base I've been growing. The thing that like I really want to I want Instagram to grow. I want to go viral on TikTok, but like that can go away. And then what do you have? You realize that's literally when all of our cult members show up and they're like, oh, I want to be part of the newsletter cult now. I understand that this is something I have power over. And one of the things I've seen some people use to like grow their newsletters, I believe Crystal from Tumble Creatures does like exclusive subscriber only sales And so like some sort of incentive to signing up for a newsletter or like a giveaway. I've personally never done it, but I think that that's smart.
I've had competitions, not giveaways, but I've definitely had competitions that are newsletter subscriber.
How did that work out for you?
It was fun.
Would you do it again?
Yeah. The problem that I have with competitions is that I always forget to announce the winners.
Oh, I know. That's the boring part. The fun part is saying you're going to do something. And then doing it is hard.
I love doing that part.
Yeah, I know.
So,
same.
If you just need to like, well, my people that compete in the competitions, they always remind me. So it's fine.
I think one thing that a lot of people mentioned, I posted in my stories that we were going to do an episode on newsletters, and I asked you some questions. And one of the things that you guys said that you really like in newsletters is when somebody shares like tips or tricks or hacks. And that's another thing I've never done.
That's the thing we don't do. Someone who does that really well, who has started doing that really well, is Nicole from Fairies and Fancies, our buddy Nicole. She's been doing little snippets on like her reels and her, I think, YouTube shorts, just about like little tips for people who are in her niche using the medium that she uses, little ways of like, you know, getting clay off your hands and stuff like that. And like that kind of stuff would be really cute to have in the bottom of your newsletter.
Yeah. And if you were not making it, that's
stuff like that.
That's like a great example to like kill two birds with one stone if you were into murdering birds like a psycho. But anyways, you could take Nicole from Fairies and Fancies video and you could link it, and effectively promoting Nicole, but then also having a tip and trick in your newsletter. It's not hard. It's like making your newsletter dope isn't that hard. It's just like, I just don't think a lot of people do that because they do think like, I have a sale, I need to tell people about the sale, or I need to promote this one thing. And like, that's where it ends. That's where the relationship ends. But like, you really are interacting with your customers in the best way through newsletters. Yeah. And if we just like think about it differently, you know, we all waltz together.
Something else that I think is a really cool thing to do in newsletters is to share a big goal that you might be working towards.
I love that so much.
Let's just say it's not so much like something that happens like in a month. It's more so big goals, like something at, just say in
60 years later.
Yeah. So like, no, in January, you're like, this year, I really want to be making this. And this is my goal for the year. I want to, you know, take my skill here and I want to get it to here. And then over the months that like down the line of the year, you can check in with that goal and you can say like, hey guys, at the start of the year, I announced that this was my goal. This is how I'm going. These are the pitfalls that I'm having. Like, you know, you can ask people for advice. You can ask them like, you know, you can just check in with them and like let them know how you're going. It gets people like hyped for what you're doing. They're invested, and next email they might want to check back and see like, I wonder if she's going to talk about that project. Yeah. And then when you eventually hit your goal or don't make your goal, it's like you've had these people that are so invested. So if you hit your goal, they're going to be like, fuck yeah. They're going to also be really interested in like buying whatever the thing was that you're making. If it's a product, whatever, this is, you know, we're talking about products really. So they're going to know the history of how that was made. And if you don't hit that goal, they're going to know how fucking hard you tried and still failed, and pick yourself back up again and start again. And that's like fucking cool to see, like that kind of resilience in artists. I love that shit. So like that would be a cool thing for you to share.
I know. I completely, that's my favorite tip that you have, is sharing a goal, because it, like you said, it invests everyone. Everybody feels like we're like a community working together with you. Like we care. And then also if you do fail and then you share that, which I know is really hard, but if you did do that, it's so endearing.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then, okay, so the last little tip that I have, or not a tip, but like content.
Homework! Homework! Wait, we have one more.
Just shut the fuck up. This one is a really cool one and it's unique. I've never seen anybody do it before. This was just like an idea that I like plucked out of the sky, and Bryn is actually going to be doing this.
We're both doing it. I've already done it.
You've already done it. You've already done it. I haven't done it yet. Anyways, the idea is, why not interview a collector of yours? So if you've got a bunch of people who are buying your work, you know, you've always got those like top tier
spicy meatball.
You always got those like guys who are just like buying your work consistently or have been buying your work for a long period of time.
Yes.
I think an awesome newsletter article for you to share with your people is an interview with that collector. So I've even written some ideas for questions you can ask them. Are you ready?
Get your notepad.
You can ask them. How did they find you? What was the first thing that they bought from you? When did they realize that they had become a collector of yours? What is their favorite piece that they own and why is that their favorite? What do they wish that you would make that you're not making yet? And who else do they collect from? Because I think that would be really interesting to know as well. So
another question I think I asked my person, which I think was on your list, was what is something that they hope that you make? Did you already say that? Did you just say that? Oh God, I'm so tired.
Rally? You got to rally. We're so close. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Bryn is going to be doing that coming up in one of her newsletters. So if you're not subscribed, go subscribe, gummypony.com, go to the newsletter part. You know how it works. And that's something that I will be doing in an upcoming newsletter at some point in the future. So I thought that was a cool idea. Now, homework challenge.
Your homework, and you must do it, otherwise we will hunt you down, is find 5 people in your niche and subscribe to their newsletters, just so you can see. If you want bonus points, because the points absolutely do matter. And like I said, we will hunt you down. Sarah knows archery. I can scoop eyes out with a spoon. Be afraid of us. If you want to do extra credit because newsletters are awesome and people send not enough of them. I love my inbox is incredible since I've been signing up to other artists' newsletters, which I like did not do because Sarah and I have kind of like differing views. We have differing takes on like the exposure to other artists. Like she loves like immersing herself in all the art. And I always forget to do that. I am very insular and I'm like in my own world all the time and I forget to do that, but it's so nice. It's so helpful to you to see what other people are up to. And it keeps my head in the game pretty, like that's one of the things I've noticed is like, I see other people's email newsletters and I'm like, that's dope.
And it also might make you realize something that it did for me ages ago. Things have changed now. But I noticed that my newsletter was looking like a lot of other potters' newsletters that I was subscribed to.
Were you using like was it because you were just like templating it up?
No, it was, well, yes, I was using I still am using templates. But it was more so that like the kind of content that I was sharing was like exactly kind of the same. And it's probably because I'd seen those and I was like, oh, that's how potters make newsletters. But instead of me going like, I'm doing the right thing because other people's are doing this, it made me think like, I don't want my newsletter to look like everybody else's. And it kind of forced me to like shake my own tree a little bit and try some different things. And so I would also challenge you, while we want you to subscribe to 5 different people, maybe don't limit yourself to your own niche. Maybe just find 5 different artists that you love and subscribe to theirs, because the way that like for me, ceramic artists, you know, present their newsletters is so fucking different to have like, I've seen like people who sell apparel and people who sell, you know, like art toys and people who sell stationery. The way that they set their newsletters up is so different. So you might find inspiration in seeing the way that a different niche creates their newsletters. So that's your homework, motherfuckers.
Our next category is the top 5 newsletter platforms. And you should know that Sarah has done all this research and I know nothing about it. And I think that we have like, would you say 20% faith that we're saying the correct things about this? Higher?
No, not higher.
Okay. Why don't you handle this?
All right, so coming in at number 5 is a platform called Sender. So this one is good because it lets you have 2,500 subscribers for free, like before you have to pay for a subscription, which is pretty damn awesome. It's
Yes.
like one of the highest amount that you can have, but it gets pretty expensive once you need to start paying. So if you just want to try things out, Sender's not a bad option. But as Bryn has mentioned in a previous recording of this, it has a boring name, and we don't really like the name.
We don't think the name is very creative, and we poo-poo this.
Yes, we poo-poo this to number 5.
We poo-poo
Coming
it
in
number
at
5.
number 4 is
Moose-end.
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 So moose-end, it's moo, cow, moo, and then send.
No.
But if you put them together,
no, it's moose-end.
like
it's
moose
the big,
end.
meaty haunches of a beast, a monstrous beast moose. Moose-end. Moose-end.
Moose-end is on here mostly because of the name.
Moose-end is
As you
my
can tell.
favorite. Yeah, because of the name. I'm riled up. I'm excited about this. Moose-end.
She loves it.
100%.
It's
Never
so
used
funny
it.
because their branding is not that great. So what I liked about Moose-end is their builder is quite nice, really easy to use. And from what I can see, like when you're looking at, when you Google like best newsletter platforms as a beginner, Moose-end is always in the top 5. It's all the time different places. It's never 1, it's never 2, but it's within the next 3, 4, 5. So I added it to that. But they get pretty expensive once you need I think they're you can have 1,000 for free. After that, it's going to cost you, I think, 24 American dollars a month. That feels excessive. So just something to think about. Okay, coming in at number 3 is one called Brevo. You can have 300 subscribers with this for free. And it has a really friendly email editor. All of them do. All of them have friendly builders. But what's different about this one is that it has e-commerce capabilities, whereas Moose-end and Sender don't. So that's something to think about.
Wait, Sarah, do you mean that you can a customer can purchase in an email?
No, I mean that, you know how if you're using we're going to talk about MailChimp for a second. So MailChimp, you can link it to your website and then you can pull in things from your shop and have it directly on there.
Yeah.
So the other two don't do that. This one does. Yeah. So that's why it's e-commerce friendly. The other difference with Brevo is that you can have SMS and WhatsApp campaigns for free.
Yeah.
I don't think you get many, but the others don't do that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So before I was like, I've never done that and probably would never do that. That's stupid. Who cares? But Bryn had a really, really clever point.
Yeah, dummy. You can send okay, it's not for everybody, I know. But there are some people, me, for you included, that would love a text sent an hour before a sale. That's because I will get that. Yeah, I would get that. And I would really like that. You mentioned before you felt SMS way too invasive. If newsletters was something that you had hangups about, sending texts is it's the next thing. But I do feel for some people, they might really like that.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point.
But we haven't tried it. We don't know anything about it. We have not tried that yet.
No, we haven't. Okay, so and then coming in at number 2, which is actually number 1, but I'll explain that in a second, is MailChimp. MailChimp is the biggest, easiest platform to use. It plugs in with every website. It's very easy to use. Because it is such a big platform, it has a really, really good help and support system. And if you're ever stuck on how to do something, you can YouTube how do I do this in MailChimp? And there's heaps of help. Yeah. So if you're a real beginner, MailChimp is probably your best bet. You get 1,000 free subscribers until you have to start paying. It has excellent templates. And MailChimp has really good analytics for a free account, whereas the other accounts that I've mentioned don't have such good analytic support for a free account. Analytics being you can see who opens, you can see how long they look at your email, you can see where they scroll down to, that you can see if they clicked on buttons to like buy things. Oh, also MailChimp has e-commerce capabilities for free accounts.
It does. Also, I want to point out, good name.
That's why it's number 2, baby. Coming in at number 1, it doesn't actually rank number 1. It's just that when I was writing my notes, I forgot to add it in, so it's number 1. But it is whatever like website platform that you might have, whether that is like Squarespace or
Shopify.
Thank you. Squarespace, Shopify, Big Cartel, whatever website platform you're using, all e-commerce platforms will have a newsletter built into that. Have a look at how their newsletters work. It's probably going to be great. If you know how to use the website, you're not going to have a huge learning curve. So we got through that part. We got through that part.
We got through that part. Okay, listener mail.
We're up to listener mail. Yeah, Bryn,
we haven't made it this far yet. Okay, listener mail. I have to open up my phone again though. Do you use newsletters, and what is your favorite service? We have Elizabeth Takes Pictures said Flowdesk for newsletter. I've never heard of Flowdesk.
Neither have I.
Fairies
great that it's working for her.
Good for you. It's apparently number 6 for us because we just found out about it. Nicole from Fairies and Fancies. She says, I do mine through Shopify. I like the convenience and ease of use since it's where my website is.
Boom, baby.
We love that.
We agree.
We got MailChimp. Somebody was confused and thought we were talking about sending like newspapers to people. The next question I asked was, what makes you subscribe or unsubscribe to a newsletter? I thought this was a really interesting question. Aaron.stack says, sales with 3 exclamation points. I want to know what's up and when. That is true. People want to know. Aaron!
Exactly. She's just telling us what we fucking knew at the start.
Yeah. Wizardly_chipmunk, great name, says that they unsubscribe because of a lack of activity. That's interesting.
Ooh.
I just forget I'm subscribed to someone.
Yeah, I wouldn't go and unsubscribe unless it was punishment. Like you get an email and then you're like, where the fuck have you been? Fuck you, unsubscribe.
Whoa, that is confusing. I love it.
I don't know.
Silly Little Teapot says
Cute.
that they unsubscribe due to high frequency and rambling text. Be efficient. I got shit to do. And then the face that's like...
I love that. Be efficient. I got shit to do, especially because I'm usually reading them on the toilet. So I do.
You literally have shit to do. That's a very good point. Diana_Papa says that she actually reads newsletters. She thinks that they're fun. I like yours and Sarah's, and I subscribe if I'm a fan of the art. They're so sweet.
Aww. You're so sweet. Thanks for writing into us.
Iset Design says, mostly not to miss shop drops or if their product sells fast and I want something. That's so true. That is the best way to know about anything because Instagram and Facebook will show you posts like hours after or days after you've posted it. Even in I have a Facebook group and even in there, I'll post something and people will say that they saw it like, I don't know, 2 days later. How is that helpful? Melly Parada says to subscribe. I like hearing slice of life and useful stuff, which keeps me on board. We gave a lot of ideas for slice of life stuff. Do you know what else I kind of want to know is like, if you have a recipe that you've been like loving, I want you to put it in your newsletter. I love food.
I challenge you to put that in your next newsletter.
Oh, I will. I got some dope recipes. I do. Shut up, I do.
I believe you. She's a really good cook. I live on the other side of the world and I still know that she's a good cook. I've never eaten anything.
I did set a grill on fire like last weekend though. The whole thing was just engulfed in flames. A propane grill.
Is that one of the grills that your dad found off the side of the road though? Because that might not have been your fault.
It was, but it was my fault because for reasons. It was my fault. Jill the Thrill says, oh, we love Jill the Thrill.
We love Jill the Thrill.
We love her. I love newsletters that can be quick to read, but if I have time to read more, links are available. So put links in that stuff. If you've got too long of text, link it up. Send them somewhere else. Get them out of there.
There. Show them what you got going on. Don't downplay your stuff.
LG.pottery says make them fun or funny, but not too often. Once a week feels like a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to still counterbalance that. I'm going to counteract and just say like, if you're doing it once a week, have it have purpose. If you don't have a newsletter, why not? And I'm going to omit all of the responses that said basically to the effect of like, what, you want a newsletter about my life? You just want to know what I'm up to, like just as a person? Because I think like there's just a lot of people that don't have small businesses who are responding. But also, yeah, a little bit. Like I'm kind of curious. Okay, so LG.pottery says that they don't have a newsletter because they just don't have enough followers. What do you say to them?
I say, baby, you're wrong. It doesn't matter how many followers you've got. If you've got an Instagram account, then you should have a newsletter database set up. You don't have to, you can just be growing the database and you don't have to make anything with it until you're ready for it. And it's there when you're ready.
And if you never use it, it literally doesn't matter. Oh, Olivia St. Clair, who is a friend of mine, says, and so I know that this is total BS, Olivia. She says, I can't figure out how to send them out. And I don't have anyone to sign up. You have someone to sign up. People will sign up. People will want to sign up.
Specifically, Bryn is waiting to sign up. And also, we gave you a top 5 list of ways to make them. And at least my mum could use MailChimp. So if my mum can do it, Olivia, you're going to be fine.
You're going to be fine. Kaylin Rose Ceramics says, not yet. I'm an inconsistent ceramic goblin that's too hot messy to be newsletter worthy. Kaylin! Kaylin! Saying! Yeah, you're newsletter worthy. You should make a newsletter. Just do it.
You should just do it. If you've got time to make social media posts, if you've got time to make a website, it's like a little plug-in for a website. It's really easy to do. Shut up.
Yeah.
Silly bitch.
Anyone who describes themselves as a hot mess goblin, I want to see your newsletter. I want to know
Bryn, you would want to see her newsletter. Every time I see pictures of her studio, I just want to be around her. She's a fun girl. And she has 2 pugs, 2 puppy pugs. She loves chaos. Make a newsletter.
That's all we got for you on newsletters. We could probably talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but Sarah's got to go to bed. Sarah's got to go to bed. If you want us to do a deep dive on any topic relating to small art businesses, leave us a comment below.
Or if you have any opinions on newsletters that we maybe didn't cover or that you'd like to talk about more, leave a comment below and let's start a fucking chat. Let's start communicating, building a community together.
You can find Sarah on YouTube under Sarah Connor Ceramics, or Instagram also Sarah Connor Ceramics, or TikTok as Sarah Connor, right? It doesn't end on TikTok, right?
I don't know. I barely use it. Don't worry about TikTok. I'm not really there. And you can find Bryn at Gummy Pony for YouTube. You can find her Gummy Pony everywhere. On Instagram.
Everywhere.
Or TikTok.
It's all the same.
Or that's it. Just those 3.
Yeah.
It's all Gummy Pony though.
And also,
GUMI.
Also, we'll link in the description. We'll link an example of Sarah's most recent newsletter and my most recent newsletter. If you want to be like, do they even have do they even have any talent? Do they even know what they're talking about? And we're going to be like, check it out.
Money where their mouth is?
Yeah.
I don't think so. That was me slapping my own knee.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you very much for sitting through this. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something.
Please leave a comment and just tell us we did a good job. Tell us we're good. Just tell us we're good. Leave us a comment about anything.
Okay, bye.
Bye! Ah!
What's this?
I don't know. I did set a grill on fire like last weekend though.